Ill Sound Radio, we back in the building.
Yes, sir. And like I told y'all earlier, man, we got an action-packed show. So this is something new to us. We got 4 guests here. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all for taking the time out. I'm gonna allow you all to introduce yourselves down the line. So checking in with our guests. So could you introduce yourself to me first?
Hi. Yes, my name is the Renee Ryder.
All right.
I am Sanaa Salah.
All right.
I am Sweet Skin Yaya.
All right.
And I am Lady E.
All right. And we thank y'all for coming through Ill Sound Radio. How y'all doing today?
Great.
Wonderful.
Appreciate y'all taking the Sunday out. I'm pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, how did y'all come with these names? Like, where did the names come from?
Oh, like our individual names?
Nah, not like y'all real names, because she said her name is Sweet Skin. Like how do y'all come up with these names?
I mean, so I have a skincare brand called Sweet Skin of Mine. So Yaya is like my spiritual name. So I just put those together, you know what I mean? So that's where Sweet Skin Yaya comes from.
Okay.
Renee is my middle name, and when I first began dancing burlesque in 2019, I literally used a name generator, and that's how I got right.
Shout out to the AI. Now, all y'all have a show together coming up, correct?
Yes.
All right, now it's a burlesque show, right?
Yeah.
All right, now me hearing burlesque, I automatically go back to the Lil' Kim song, and I want to say Christina Aguilera, I think. Okay, so how close is burlesque to that?
I mean, I feel like that video specifically touches on Moulin Rouge, and with that, they all kind of intertwine. Burlesque started off as parodies, and then it grew to be more sexual over time, but there was always theatrics and things like that intertwined in burlesque as it is. And so that's pretty accurate. You know, you will find shows a lot like that with that glamour and that mystique, but it differs in many ways as well.
For sure. And burlesque is something that's new to me. You know, shout out to our brother Jones who brought it up. So that was actually my first time hearing about it. So can you break burlesque down and outside of what I researched myself, which is what I found on Google? So can you just break it down in your own words?
The simplest way to put it is that it's the art of tease, essentially. And you're giving a whole show. You're really giving, what am I trying to say? You're really giving theatrics with that. And,
okay, gotcha.
And you're really loving your body at the same time.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. Google, you know, they kept it simple. They really just called it a musical drama in a sense. Does that relate in a way too?
It does. It absolutely does. You know, that's the part that I love the most, is that telling the story and getting into the theatrics rather than, like, taking off your clothes can be so vulnerable. But when you have a moment to really get into like the
story.
Exactly. Thank you. The story. It's what makes it.
Right. So it more so like challenges like intimacy, you would say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
you have to get intimate with an audience. You have to get intimate with yourself.
Okay, gotcha.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Explain the process of actually crafting the story behind it, and how do y'all implement that into dancing?
You can come from many different angles. Yeah. This time, I feel like we kind of picked each other's brains and saw what we were going for in our individual acts. We knew that we just wanted to do a show together. That's where it started. And then from there, it was just like, what are you feeling? What music are you feeling? And then from there, we built the storyline around that. It was already naturally there. We just had to see it, because our what we wanted was already speaking through. And so we took a moment to just take a step back and, like, what is actually being said here? And that's how we kind of came up with the storyline for Ethereal.
Do all of y'all have, like, a background in dancing?
Yes, but all of our background is different. So Renee is our burlesque extraordinaire.
Okay.
Sorry, you have to excuse me, it's my birthday weekend, so my voice is coming back.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And my background is more ballet, jazz, modern. Erica's our heels extraordinaire.
Yes.
And Yaya, she is also ballet, modern, jazz.
So how did y'all get into burlesque, and like how did you all combine as one? Because you know you all got different backgrounds, but how did you bring it together to make something like what y'all got going on?
So we all currently take Renee's burlesque class right now on Friday. So, you know, just kind of being in the class and what it did for all of us individually is what brought us together to do something together collectively.
Okay, how did you start your burlesque class, Renee?
Well, I started taking classes with Goddess Sanaa, Hawkins House of Horton, 2020. And from there, it just evolved into teaching burlesque. And, it just naturally progressed.
Okay, gotcha. So this is all like, you still fairly new to it yourself?
I am, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, y'all got a couple ballet dancers sprinkled in here. Now, I personally don't know how to ballet dance. Let's just put that on the table. But I know the difficulties of being a ballet dancer. And I know it's not as promoted in the black community like it should be, but there are a lot of black ballet dancers. So explain like what ballet is.
What it is?
Yeah.
It's a style of dance created by the Italians, stolen by the French. You know, just an expressive, you know, like any kind of dance, it's non-verbal communication, right?
It's very technical.
It's very complex. It's not something, you know what I mean?
You can't just put words on it.
It's strenuous. Like, you have to build up and spend a lot of times building up technique and different muscles to execute the grace, the elegance that comes with that. So to say what ballet is,
and it's used for different things, you know, like you got Swan Lake where it's like, okay, yeah, we just want to be swans and be graceful. Or you have more, you know, melanated versions of it where it's like we're using it to express frustration or attack. And so, yeah.
And people will often take ballet in order to, you know, get prepared to do other styles of dance because it's just a great way to train.
Now, it's this boxer. He started boxing at a young age, but his father made him quit boxing and actually put him into ballet so he can learn like footwork and he can learn how to move around. Now, at what age did y'all start, or did you get into like ballet? Because I'm assuming that it had to be at a young age.
I'll say for me, like, I don't have like a super technical background in ballet, but I did start with ballet, jazz, tap when I was 5. And then I'll say 2-3 years later is when I like transitioned into hip hop more so than just focusing on the technique. And now I'm back with HHOH taking ballet classes, so building that technique all over again.
I started out, actually, I was kind of late, 16 when I first took my first ballet class, and it was just up from there, you know.
I was like 8, halfway, almost through elementary school. And then I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do this because they keep forcing me.
Now, starting at such a young age, like, we not actually, we may be aware of what race is and what racism is, but I could imagine you being surrounded by nothing but white children. You know what I'm saying? And they automatically judge you. Like, I want to touch her hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you deal with that at such a young age?
Can I just say, so what was the dance center that used to be downtown that they tore down? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Lucanta.
Lucant. So I started taking classes at Lucant around 16, and that was one of the hardest parts about going, to be honest, because the teachers just didn't seem to care for my body type. They would often walk past and be like, okay, that's a lot extra going on there, and they're always like, just tuck it. And I do know more of what they meant now, but they just didn't seem to have the patience for me at that time. So that was extremely difficult, taking those classes, and that was part of why I just didn't stay on track as much.
What gives you motivation though to like uplift yourself and being in that type of environment?
Oh, I changed that environment. I don't stay in that environment. No need to put yourself through trauma. You find the people who do work for you, who do get it done, who do have patience for you. And that is why I love Hawkins House of Horton.
Okay, can you tell me about Hawkins House of Horton?
Yeah, well, yeah. So Hawkins House of Horton is a pandemic baby in 2020. A lot of people were reaching out to me wanting to train. You know, I started putting myself out there on Instagram with the Horton technique, which is Lester Horton created the Horton technique. It's the first professional dance we could do as Black people. So it's the first interracial company. Right. And so a lot of people were like, well, what are you doing? I kind of want to learn. So I started teaching people individually, and eventually I was like, let's just all come together. And I no longer wanted to work corporate anymore, so I was just like, you know, I'm just going to go all in, and then Hawkins House of Horton was birthed.
Gotcha. And I always was raised under the fact that the greatest teachers can break things down in the simplest form. Do you think that you can can you break your style down and, like, say if I want to get in ballet, could you teach me, like, right away?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And what's your biggest implement of being a teacher? Like, was it your experience? Was it your passion? Like, what drives you to be the best teacher you can be?
Success of the student. Just cause I never wanted to be a teacher. My mom was like, "You're gonna be a dance teacher?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a dancer."
Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad.
But you know, like when a student goes from like, "I can't do this," or you know, struggling with it, and then they can just do it. It's amazing. It's pretty cool. So I think that's what drives me.
For sure. Now, you guys have your Burlesque on the 24th. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, what can people expect? Like, how that show to run? Where's the venue? Like, more information about it.
So it's taking place at Connect Gallery in Hyde Park. It's just in the corners.
Right.
And then it will begin at 8:30. Doors open at 8:30. Show probably begins closer to 9, and then it's just going to be a whole experience. We want to immerse people in this atmosphere, really get them to feel as though they are teleported into a different world.
Yeah, that's something. You know, this still my first time hearing about it. So like that's really something. Like, how can you describe like a viewer's experience to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you somebody like me walking in there, like what goes, like, I'm not saying what goes down.
Tell him he gonna sit down. You gonna sit down.
Exactly. I want you to experience like the moment that you walk in the door. I want you to experience a moment of awe. Like, I want you to be taken away by the decor, by the atmosphere, by the vibe. Right. And then from there, get you a little cocktail. Enjoy it. Take your seat. You know what I mean? You might get something to nibble on. And then as the show begins, you literally feel like you're on a ride. You're being taken on a ride somewhere.
Ill Sound Radio, we back in the building.
Yes, sir. We checking back in with our guests. Now I'm gonna go down the line. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see if I can get it right. We got Erica, we got Sanaa, we got Smooth Skin, Yaya. My sweet skin, gotcha. And we got Lady E.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, I
wasn't Erica.
So I'm Erica. Lady E.
Renee. Yeah. Okay. You right next to
doing that.
And when you went down the line, I'm like, okay, you going this way? Wait, hold on.
Hey, y'all gotta excuse me. I don't mean no harm.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm horrible with names. So you did.
I thought I was better than what I'm doing, but hey, you know. But yeah, we checking back in with y'all. So. You said you want to ask a question about ballet.
You said you can teach him how to do ballet, and it would be easy. I find that. I'm sorry, I got to question that because, like y'all say, it takes a lot to learn ballet, and he may not have the leg strength that he needs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it has to be like levels to it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is levels to it. Just because he can do ballet doesn't mean he can do ballet well.
Okay. Right. There we go. There we go.
For sure.
But it's ballet is like 99% mental. So it's like you have the information and you can, get your mind-body connection. You can do it.
And repetition.
For sure. Now, if you ain't never told me that, I would never I would think that's a place like where you free your mind. So you don't gotta think nothing like that. What makes it so mental?
You definitely have to be thinking of the right things. But, you know, it's like a science. So, like, for instance, this is nerd stuff, but when you're doing a pirouette, you're thinking, okay, you have to think of what parts of your body are going down, what parts of your body are going up, what parts are going around. So you're kind of thinking of like solving a formula in your head at the same time. So, you know.
See, too complicated, bro.
Man, I'll be out there down there.
We can choose first through what fifth position, the basics.
For sure. Now, is it a lot of longevity in ballet? Because you know, I see ballet interpreted in movies, and like, you know, the actors be very young, and you know, I don't see really older people in ballet. I know it's a lot of people in it, but is it something, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it common longevity in it?
For sure, I think it's a misconstrued whatever, that you have to be young to do it. If we look at the Deeply Rooted Dance Company, most of those dancers are late 30s to 40s. A lot of the A-League dancers are late 30s to 40s. Most of melanated dancers in professional companies are, you know, older people. And then, you know, you have making your own studio, you have teaching, you have just so many different avenues that you can take with dance. So yeah, we gotta stop spreading that narrative.
Yeah, that's why we need people like y'all, though. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all brought it right to my face. I only know what I seen on movies. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for breaking that down. You know, keep pushing the narrative too. You know,
Absolutely.
Now you say you quit your job to start this.
Oh yeah.
Where did the confidence come from for you to say, "Hey, fuck y'all"?
So the icing on the cake was actually the George Floyd situation. So when that was going down and people running down my block with TVs and screaming, and I'm just, everybody, you know, virtually at my job, I'm like, y'all not
business
going
as usual.
Right. So it was just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not doing anything I don't want to do anymore, and I don't want to do this. So if it doesn't make me happy, if I don't get up and be like, yeah, I want to do this, then I'm not going to do it. So
now, I know being an entrepreneur is extremely hard. So on those tough days, how do you keep going and keep moving forward?
I do what I love doing. So it's easy. It's easy to work around the clock and work all the time because I genuinely love what I do. And if I don't want to do it, if I have to force myself, then I'm just not going to do it.
Has it been hard to connect with the community as far as what you do?
No, because I'm attracting, you know, as long as I'm just aligning within myself and, you know, doing what I got to do, doing the work, I just attract what's right for me and the people that are right for me, which is how I got with these beautiful ladies, you know, so.
All right, now, they say you the master of the heels. How difficult is it to dance in heels? Because I done seen a couple videos of women just put on heels and just start running. You know, just to show how diverse they were in heels. So explain how hard that is.
Yeah, it can be extremely hard, but just like ballet, there's a form, there's a technique to it as well. I say if you have the dancing background, you kind of are familiar with, you know, how to create certain lines and know how to turn and things like that. But if you're not, I love helping women learn to like walk and feel confident in their heels and things like that. So I think it's a mental too when it comes to heels, because a lot of times like you get in your head and you get in your own way, as opposed to just not worrying about who's in class. If we're judging you, you should be there to impress yourself, if anything. So yeah, I think I just help people flip the switch for their mindset to like be ready to dance in heels. Yeah.
All right, now you have a skincare line.
Yes.
What made you get into, you know, the beauty lane?
So how it all really started for me, I was going through like a really tough time. And like one of the things I would always do is like go to Walgreens and get Shea Moisture body scrubs and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. It was just like ritual, self-care rituals. And I was at Starbucks one day, and, you know, I always had my pen and paper, always thinking of different things to get into, and then something just kept speaking to me. And I just started writing out my own, like, recipes. And I literally got up, and I went to the store, got my oils, got some sugar, got some packaging, and I made one for me. And I made some for my mom, my sisters, and then I picked one random lady in the neighborhood to get a body scrub too. So it was just kind of like, another thing that really birthed it for me was when my mom gave me money for the scrub that I gave her, and I was just like,
oh, that's nice.
Shout out to OG.
No, for real. She was like, I'm like, Mom, no, this is not what I was trying to do, you know. But she's like, you need to do something with
monetize it.
Yeah. So, and it was just like a love from there, and it grew with like different products, you know, which comes with different skilling and all of that stuff. So.
Do you do like how-to videos or like self-tutorials of what you do? Because you sound like you got the voice for it. That's why I asked.
Not yet. Okay. People are trying to push me to do it, and I'm just like,
gotta get in front of that mic.
I do. People want me to teach how to do these things, but I'm like, okay, I need to come up with a curriculum, blah, 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 blah. They're like, just do it now. No, I need to plan for this.
Oh, yeah, take your time, for sure.
Yeah.
And also, too, you hinted that you got to it in a rough time. And if you could take care of your skin and keep that self-care discipline through a rough time, you could do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
All right, let me ask y'all this, because we know every day we can turn on our TVs and see how difficult it is to be a black man. But they say the black woman is the most disrespected person in America. So how difficult is it to be a black woman? Take y'all time.
A black woman in art at that. So that's another tag.
That's awesome.
And business.
How difficult?
I will say, it is difficult. You know, but I feel personally like I have a very privileged life, and I'm grateful that I was able to curate the life I live currently, working around people I enjoy and love and art. I constantly surround myself with those type of people because that's what I had in my heart. I did work in predominantly white environments, and I didn't like them. You know, I was often an afterthought. So no, yeah. I just say if you don't want that struggle and you have something, if you have the means to change it. Just get where you need to be to feel safe and like you're doing what you need to do for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like she says, like it feels powerful to be a woman. Like it feels amazing, awesome, you know. But it's like, you know, a lot of our world has been built by, you know, women. We are just starting to build our own systems, you know, where we have safe spaces where we can feel like normalized. So, of course, we felt a little bit uncomfortable historically, you know, but that's shifting, you know. It's like they say, well, was it meant to help us? So why would we think the police system or whatever systems, things like that. So I think that's where the narrative comes from, but, you know, we're magic, so our systems are going to be the best anyways.
To add on what you're saying.
Not going to let you guys come play with us.
To add on what you're saying, do you think that's backwards, though? Because, you know, just common knowledge to tell you that women are the creators, like we came from women. So do you think that is backwards that, okay, you got so much going on in the world, how, like, women wasn't able to vote, wasn't considered to work, anything called on for work. Do you think that's kind of backwards and, like, a shift is coming where it's going to be forefronted for women more?
Yeah, I think we're definitely living in it now, especially black women.
Facts.
Building businesses and thriving, creating their own generational wealth, you know, for families, on and on. But to answer your question, I feel like what makes it difficult is when we as women don't take the time for ourselves to like pour back into ourselves, whether that's like self-care, setting boundaries, setting your intentions. Exactly, right? Yes. So I think that's what makes it difficult. And I think one thing that we have, which is so beautiful, is like dance. Like we have something that we tap into that we truly enjoy and love that pours back into us. So.
Absolutely.
It sounds like all y'all is just extremely happy with where y'all are in life right now.
We're at peace, okay? Yes.
And it's sometimes difficult to get to those places because we have social norms slapping us in our face every day, and we find ourselves having to compromise just to, you know, live for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So to hear all y'all speak so happily, even me asking that question, none of y'all actually took a negative approach to the question. You know what I'm saying? All y'all took a positive approach to the question. So I'm just happy for y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I will say I feel like our experiences, like we figured out how to pivot, you know, because I worked in corporate America as well, and I chucked up the deuces because I was just like, I can do this for myself. And ever since then, I've been at peace. I feel free. I enjoy what I'm doing. Some days are hard, but I feel like the time is now to take that risk, you know, and to do what's necessary for myself. So
I feel like once y'all hit that point of zero tolerance, that's when everything changes, you know.
Yeah.
But so I feel it, the zero tolerance, when you said you said you weren't dealing with it and you went over to like House of Hawkins and everything they got going on. So that's major though, you know. And
the
that's
people and the environment that you surround yourself with is key.
Sometimes we don't think like that because this environment makes us comfortable. We got to get our money in this environment. This environment supports us to pay our bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there, and there are always micro communities. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna necessarily scream at you, but I think that it's all about the vibes that you're putting out. If you're truly hoping, praying, manifesting what is right for you, you'll find it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, y'all spoke on self-care a lot. Outside of dance, like what are some ways that y'all, you know, give back to yourselves?
For me, I would say, like, with my morning and nighttime routine, like, I make sure that I spend a certain amount of time in the morning to myself, because if I don't, I'm not the same. And as well as going to sleep, like, I light my candles, I make sure, you know, I have dinner, all that good stuff. Sometimes take a bath, because, you know, we be dancing and I be sore. So yeah, I would say just morning and nighttime routine is another way that I pour into myself.
This is gonna sound very typical, but having my coffee almost every day.
For sure.
Sometimes it's also creating skincare products for myself that I don't sell to other people. Like
it's therapeutic for you.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just do this because why not? And of course, like making dinner for myself. I have a child as well, so finding my time, like really being selfish and being like, look, you're good, okay? Like
it's
my
care
time.
of.
It's my time, you know. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, the morning routine thing is definitely a big key. Meditation, fasting when I can, and then just like telling myself yes for whatever I want.
Heard that.
Mama, facts. Why would you tell yourself no?
Similar to that, I would say my self-care is taking the time with family and friends, you know, to decompress, to really talk about what's going on. They hype me up the most, you know, and they keep me going. Also dinners. I love dinner. You know what I mean? It's just one of like the funnest things. To go for dinner. But yeah.
All right, this is my favorite question. If y'all can go back and give y'all younger selves any advice, what would it be?
What would it be?
She's like, I've been waiting for you days.
Okay, I think I'll go. I would tell my younger self, to just go with my first mind, do what it is that I'm passionate about, and that everything will work itself out at the end of the day.
That what I have to offer is more than enough.
Okay.
To get out of my own way.
Okay.
Take more risks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facts.
For sure.
I think y'all could all put them together and write a book.
Well, you know, we got Ethereal.
Right.
Creating a show.
The book.
Now, before we get out of here, tell everybody how they can get in tune with each one of y'all, stay in tune with y'all, and then once again promote the show.
Okay, so you can follow me on IG at lady_E_312. Before I pass it on, we also have a joint IG account. It's ethereal.fatale, FATALE. Yeah.
So you can reach me on my personal Instagram at sweetgalmamayaya, and go ahead and follow Sweet Skin of Mine as well.
Yes.
You can reach me at goddess.sanaa, SANAA, or at HH of Horton.
You can find me on Instagram at the Renee Ryder, Ryder spelled with a Y.